This is Commentary with the Arana Nation, and today we will be deciphering the 2018 Ontario Leaders Debate that was held in the North. This is the Northern Leaders Debate. Now we're going to be deciphering this debate from beginning to end, and each video I want to try and make it 14 minutes and 30 seconds or less because 15 minutes is the maximum that my computer will allow to be put on YouTube. So I hope you can understand. We will be doing some very hilarious commentary, some very serious commentary. We're going to be deciphering this debate. And without further ado, let's go. The first introduction goes to my man, Doug Ford. What's up, Doug?
First of all, friends, it's great to be here in the North.
The North is
Been
beautiful.
up here numerous times. I absolutely love it here.
I do
we have
too.
great candidates. Matter of fact, we have all-star candidates all throughout the North.
Yeah.
My friends, over 15 years, you've seen mismanagement, scandal,
Damn right.
and waste
Damn right.
when it comes to this Liberal government.
You ain't kidding,
It's
bro.
time for change.
Damn right.
You know me, I'm for the little guy. What you see is what you get.
And so is your brother.
I'm not one person when I'm in the North, another person when I'm in Ottawa, another person when I'm downtown Toronto. I'm for the people. I'm going to bring accountability, transparency, and integrity back to the taxpayers of Ontario. We're going to make sure we reduce your hydro rates. We're going to create good paying jobs.
Damn right.
We're going to reduce the wait times at hospitals. We're going to make sure we lower the gas prices.
And by the way, he's talking about the hospitals. Andrea Horwath, the leader of the NDP, she was saying that she wants to end hallway healthcare as well. The problem is, my friends, is that if Andrea Horwath is premier, she says she wants to bring Ontario as a sanctuary province, which means anybody from all over the world can come to Ontario and live in Ontario and go in our hospitals and our schools and take our welfare. That's going to explode the population in our hospitals and in our education system. We cannot have that. Doug Ford is not going to allow that to happen. And let's continue with the great Doug Ford. Ford Nation, for the people.
Hey, I'm the only one on this stage that's going to lower the gas prices by getting rid of the worst tax anyone's ever seen. That's the carbon tax.
Yep.
We're going to scrap the green energy.
For those of you who want to know what the carbon tax, who want to know what position to take on the carbon tax will make the environment actually worse, not to mention raise our gas prices. The carbon tax will force companies, fossil fuel companies, to move to overseas countries like America, China, all those places, and they might spew even more carbon than they did when they were in Ontario and in Canada. And Justin the Long-Haired Mac Daddy Trudeau wants a carbon tax, Kathleen Wynne wants a carbon tax, and Andrea Horwath wants a carbon tax. Doug Ford says no to the carbon tax.
My friends, on June the 7th, when we're elected in government and we're representing everyone in Ontario, a new day will dawn, a day of prosperity, a day of opportunity and growth the likes this province has never seen before. We will blaze a new trail of creating good paying jobs, putting money back into your pocket instead of the government's pocket.
You are
For
not
far
kidding.
too long, you've been getting gouged by the government. I thank you. I love the North, and I look forward to representing you.
Ontario is one of the most expensive provinces to live in, and hopefully Doug Ford will fix that. And now Jezebel's turn.
It's a great pleasure to be here with
Look at
all of you.
Jezebel.
Thank you for hosting this forum that allows us to have this conversation with you. Je suis très heureuse d'être ici parmi
I don't know
vous
what
ce
she's saying, but
matin
while
pour
she's speaking
discuter notre
French,
plan, mais
let's
aussi
just say
pour
I call
répondre
Kathleen
à vos
Wynne
questions
Jezebel because
et discuter
she
les
reminds me of the
concerns
most
qui
wicked
nous
woman
sont
in the Bible,
particuliers,
Jezebel.
ici,
So that's why I
dans le
call
Nord.
Kathleen Wynne Jezebel.
Et aussi parler de notre plan à investir en soins. I'm very happy to be with all of you. We've had a lot of time to work together. We've worked together on projects many, many times. When I was here 4 years almost to the day, I made a commitment that I would work to build this province up, and I have been
And you've
doing that.
destroyed
We
it.
completed the building of 800 new schools, 24 new
Overpopulated
hospitals.
schools,
There are
overpopulated hospitals.
235,000 young people who are getting free tuition in this province because of changes we
Let's
made.
talk about free tuition here. She says she introduced free tuition to a bunch of people. Well, the only way you can get that free tuition is if you live with your parents and they make over a certain amount of money. Now, I don't know about you, but I know a lot of people out there living in homeless shelters, living on the street, all sorts of different situations whose parents are probably they come from good families, but the family relationship wasn't good or whatever. They cannot get the free tuition because they don't have any relationship with their family. So I mean, you got to understand, what about them? I mean, technically, what Jezebel did was give free tuition to the most privileged children in Ontario. How does that make any sense, Jezebel?
And a 30% increase in Indigenous students who have applied to OSAP. We've got 7 new mines that have opened in the north. There are 1,000 new nurses that have been hired, 300 new doctors, as much as $630 million a year for the Northern Highways Plan. So we've been building together, and you have had such an important role in working with us to form, for example, the OSIF funding for infrastructure. We've worked with you. We need to continue to work together. And at this point, we recognize that there is a need for more investment in care. And this election is going to come down to a very stark choice between...
We need a lot of investment in care, and it was your government which cut funding for autistic people over the age of 5. So you talk about this election is between care, not cuts. That's right. You're the cutter, and Andrew Horvath is your puppet, your slave, if you will, who I mean, she didn't vote for the cuts, but she voted for a lot of things that made this province go down, like the Green Energy Act. And it's between you, the cutter, the puppet, and the caring one, Doug Ford, the populist.
A cutting agenda, and
which is yours.
An agenda that says we need to invest in childcare, in more care for seniors, long-term care beds in the north and across the province.
Which is Doug Ford.
I look forward to working with all of you. Thank you so much. Merci.
The northern people can't wait to kick you out of Queen's Park so quickly.
Well, good morning, everyone. I'm very, very pleased to be here, and I want to start by thanking Noma and Phenom for allowing us to have a conversation today about priorities for Northerners and Northern communities. This election is an election that thus far has been about two folks fighting over which one's going to make the worst premier.
You and
I
Kathleen
think that we
Wynne.
can actually do better than that this time around and talk
We will
about
do better with
what
Doug
it is
Ford.
that will make Ontario
You're Kathleen
a great
Wynne's
place
puppet.
to live no matter where you are in our province. We don't have to keep making the same choices over and over again between bad and worse, Liberals and Conservatives. We've seen a Liberal government that has cut our services, that has given us hallway medicine, that has not paid attention to some of the unique circumstances and priorities that Northern communities face. We see a leader in the Conservative Party who wants to cut even further and make things even worse, who's not committed to keeping schools open, for example.
That's wrong.
And who is going to be spending a lot of public money on giveaways, tax giveaways to the wealthiest, the richest people, and the richest corporations.
And we've seen an NDP government back in the 90s which threw away thousands and thousands of jobs, chased thousands of jobs out of Ontario, racked up our debt, made Ontario a very expensive place to live, just like Kathleen Wynne has done. I mean, no wonder you're Kathleen Wynne's puppet. You're almost the same. I mean, it's so funny how they're having this debate at 11:30 in the morning when most people are supposed to be at work. But maybe I can understand because there's jobs have been leaving the north, so maybe there aren't that many people who are employed, so they have time to watch this at 11:30 in the morning, and that's thanks to you and Kathleen Jezebel Wynne. You supported the Green Energy Act, which has racked up our hydro bills, chased out many jobs. You supported most of Kathleen Wynne's budgets, which have done a number on Ontario. You are Kathleen Wynne's puppet. A vote for Doug Ford would be a vote for real change. You can't just go from the frying pan to the NDP orange fire.
The problems in Northern Ontario are not going to get addressed. You can do something different this time, is my message. We can actually
you can vote for
have
Doug
a Northern
Ford.
Ontario where your roads are safe because winter maintenance is being looked after, where schools are kept open. Yes, where the Ring of Fire is actually up and running, and we're having those jobs that go with that exploration in mind.
Yeah, but your party cheers every time mining jobs get closed down. And the Northern Ontario, what they rely on are mining jobs. That's what the Ring of Fire is. So you talk about jobs. Under your premiership, you would do everything you can to close down as many mines as possible. You already closed down the coal mines. And by the way, they just simply moved to other parts of the world and spewed even more carbon. I'd rather them here in Ontario, where we could control the amount of carbon they put into the atmosphere and regulate them. But you have candidates in the NDP party, in the NDP thing, which cheer every time mines get closed down. So how can the North trust you when you cheer every time their livelihood gets torn away bit by bit?
Right here in your communities, where we have communities where you can still have health care that's equal to the rest of the province. My plan is one that is respectful of yours, that I'll work together with you in the North to make sure that we make our communities thrive again throughout Northern Ontario. Thank you.
Yeah, but you want a sanctuary province where everybody comes to Ontario and
now the first question.
Load up our healthcare system even more. And more hallway healthcare.
2014, hosted by Phenom and Noma in Thunder Bay, one of Phenom's questions focused on ensuring that Northerners be consulted when policy and legislation is being developed and has an impact on our region. At that time, we highlighted our concerns about the Endangered Species Act being heavily influenced by well-funded environmental groups that have no understanding or stake in Northern Ontario and use fear tactics rather than science to spread their messaging. Here we are 4 years later asking the same question with the development of the Species at Risk Guide without first consulting with municipalities and Indigenous communities. We had to fight to be heard. The question is, how will your government ensure that as communities we are proactively consulted with regards to policy and legislation that has a direct impact on us and not have to fight to have our voices heard? We will start with Mr. Ford.
Well, thank you for the question. My friends, being up north, I've been talking to the people up north. I believe the people up north should make decisions. My counterparts here, my opposition sitting to the left, she relies on the Toronto elites. The Toronto elites to sit at Queen's Park and dictate to the people of the north what they should be doing and what they shouldn't be doing. I don't believe in politicians telling the people in the north what they should be doing or shouldn't be doing.
Especially politicians who've never been to the north.
And then we have my friend Andrea Horwath over there. She has a candidate named Ramsey Hart. He's an extremist, environmentalist. I want to know which Andrea Horwath it is. Does she listen to the downtown Toronto extremists, the environmentalists that have cut mining? Actually, Ramsey Hart, one of her candidates, cheers every time mining jobs go.
Didn't I just say that?
He was an activist against the mining companies.
I just said that.
Who does that?
Exactly. Who does that? I always know how to choose the best leaders. I just said that. Who does that? Who actually says that they want to care about the North and bring jobs to the North, but then what they'll turn around the next day and cheer every time mines, which is the livelihood of the North, get taken away? Only a sick mofo would do something like that.
Are you there to protect the people of the North like I am? Or are you there to protect your extremist environmental friends that have nothing to do with the North? When they see forestry jobs cut, we lost 57,000 forestry jobs under Kathleen Wynne. They're the same people. It's tax, 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 spend, spend, spend. They don't worry about the frontline people. I care about the people. I believe politicians shouldn't make the decisions, no matter if it becomes education, healthcare, or mining or forestry. I've been up there. I've been into these logging companies. I've been into these mining companies. They're frustrated.
And with that, we will leave it right there. And we will begin part 2 momentarily. This is the Arana Nation Commentary.